The Black Death was a devastating global epidemic of bubonic plague that struck Europe and Asia in the mid-1300s. The plague arrived in Europe in October 1347 when 12 ships from the Black Sea docked at the Sicilian port of Messina. People gathered on the docks were met with a horrifying surprise. Most sailors on board of the ships were dead, and those still alive were gravely ill and covered in black boils that oozed blood and pus. Sicilian authorities hastily ordered the fleet of death ships out of the harbor, but it was too late. Over the next 5 years, the Black Death would kill more than 20 million people in Europe, almost one-third of the continent's population. The plague is thought to have originated in Asia over 2,000 years ago and was likely spread by trading ships. Though recent research have indicated the pathogen responsible for the Black Death may have existed in Europe as early as 3000 BC. Europeans were scarcely equipped for the horrible reality of the Black Death. Blood and pus seeped out of these strange swellings, which followed by a host of other unpleasant symptoms: fever, chills, vomiting, diarrhea, terrible aches and pains, and then death. The Black Death was terrifyingly, indiscriminately contagious. The disease was also terrifyingly efficient. People who were perfectly healthy when they went to bed at night could be dead by morning. Not long after it struck Messina, the Black Death spread to the port of Marseille in France and to the port of Tunis in North Africa. Then it reached Rome and Florence, two cities at the center of an elaborate web of trade routes. By the middle of 1348, the Black Death had struck Paris, Lyon, and London. No one knew exactly how the Black Death was transmitted from one patient to another, and no one knew how to prevent or treat it. Meanwhile, in a panic, healthy people did all they could to avoid the sick. Doctors refused to see patients, priests refused to administer last rites, and shopkeepers closed their stores. Many people fled the cities for the countryside, but even there, they could not escape the disease. It affected cows, sheep, goats, pigs, and chickens. In fact, so many sheep died that one of the consequences of the Black Death was a European wool shortage, and many people, desperate to save themselves, even abandoned their sick and dying loved ones. Because they did not understand the biology of the disease, many people believed that the Black Death was kind of a divine punishment, retribution for the sins against God, as greed, blasphemy, fornication, and worldliness. By this logic, the only way to overcome the plague was to win God's forgiveness. Some people believed that the way to do this was to purge their communities of heretics and other troublemakers. So, for example, many thousands of Jews were massacred in 1348 and 1349. The plague never really ended, and it returned with a vengeance years later. But officials in the port city of Ragusa were able to slow its spread by keeping arriving sailors in isolation until it was clear they were not carrying the disease. The sailors were initially held on their ships for 30 days, a period that was later increased to 40 days. The Black Death epidemic had run its course by the early 1350s, but the plague reappeared every few generations for centuries. While antibiotics are available to treat the Black Death, according to the World Health Organization, there are still 1,000 to 3,000 cases of plague every year.